Let me set the stage, because context here matters more than anything. Right now, in April 2026, we are living through what economists are calling temporary stagflation, prices going up, growth slowing down, both at the same time. And it is all being driven by one geographic choke point that most people could not find on a map 6 months ago, the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is now charging cargo ships up to $2 million just to pass through, $2 million per vessel, in cash or crypto. And that toll gets passed through to every product those ships are carrying, which includes a significant portion of global oil supply. Brent crude hit $118 a barrel. Gasoline prices jumped 21.2% in a single month. That is the largest single-month spike since 1967. It is not just oil. The shipping companies are passing their costs to you directly. USPS added an 8% fuel surcharge. Amazon added a 3.5% surcharge on third-party sellers. You are not just paying more at the pump. You are paying more for everything that moved on a truck or a ship to get to you. And on top of all of this, Kevin Warsh becomes Federal Reserve Chair on May 15th. His entire doctrine is built on one idea: shrink the money supply, keep rates elevated, break inflation at the source. No cheap money, no rate cuts. The era of buying things on credit and figuring it out later, that era is done. This is not doom and gloom, this is context, because once you understand the environment, the no-buy strategy stops looking like deprivation and starts looking like the only logical move. Now here is where it gets genuinely interesting, and I promise, this is the part of this video that is going to surprise you. While everyone is distracted by high prices and geopolitical headlines, the government has quietly handed certain households a significant amount of money this year. And most people are either spending it immediately or have no idea how to deploy it properly. I'm talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the OBBBA, and it is changing the personal finance math in 2026 inches, a way that almost nobody is fully connecting yet. First, tax refunds. Total individual refunds are projected to hit $350 billion this year. That is an 18 to 20% surge over last year. The average refund through early April was $3,462. Some estimates are putting it closer to $3,750. That is real money. The question is what you do with it. Second, the SALT deduction just exploded. If you live in California, New York, New Jersey, or any other high-tax state, pay close attention. The SALT deduction cap went from $10,000 to $40,000 for households earning under $500,000 a year. If you itemize your deductions, this could mean thousands of additional dollars back in your pocket depending on your state tax bill. This is what I am calling the SALT sweet spot, and upper-middle-class households in high-tax states are the biggest beneficiaries. Third, if you had a baby between 2025 and 2028, the government is depositing $1,000 into what the bill calls a Trump account for your child. It is invested in the stock market. It grows tax-free. At historical average returns over 18 years, that $1,000 becomes roughly $5,000 to $7,000 before your child even graduates high school. That is a head start on generational wealth that literally requires you to do nothing. Fourth, if you own an American-made car with a loan on it, the OBBBA includes a new above-the-line deduction of up to $10,000 for auto loan interest, but only for vehicles with final assembly in the United States. On a 7% loan, that is potentially several $100s back at tax time. Worth checking your vehicle's assembly location before your next filing. The core point is this: the government has created a liquidity injection for households. The no-buy strategy is not just about spending less. It is about combining the money you save from not buying things with this windfall and deploying it somewhere it actually compounds. More on exactly where in Section 5. Here is something I find genuinely fascinating about 2026. The no-buy movement is not a fringe thing anymore. It is cultural. And it is being led by the generation that was supposed to be the most brand-loyal, trend-driven consumer base in history: Gen Z and younger millennials. Have you seen the hashtag number Underconsumption core on TikTok? Hundreds of millions of views? The whole aesthetic is built around using things until they are genuinely empty, patching clothes, buying secondhand, making things last. Contrast that to haul culture, which was 2021, 2022, 2023. The influencer showing you 30 items from an online fast fashion site. The unboxing video. The everything I bought this week format. That energy is dead, and it did not die because people got less materialistic. It died because people got financially honest. Running alongside it is a trend called loud budgeting. It is exactly what it sounds like. People being public and unapologetic about their financial limits. Saying things out loud that used to feel embarrassing. I'm on a budget and saving for something more important than this dinner. That sentence used to feel like an admission of failure. In 2026, it is a flex. And there is a third thing happening that matters for your psychology: de-influencing. Creators are actively telling their audiences not to buy things, not to purchase the viral product, not to fall for the algorithm, because people are increasingly aware that a significant portion of financial content online is either AI-generated or specifically designed to manipulate your spending behavior. Understanding that changes your relationship with your phone, and it changes your relationship with your wallet. Okay, let me make this practical, because I'm not buying anything as a concept sounds great until you realize you need toothpaste and your car needs an oil change. The no-buy community on Reddit, r/no-buy and r/anti-consumption, has developed a framework that actually works in the real world. 2 lists. Simple. What you are allowed to buy. Consumables. Groceries, hygiene products, medicine, non-negotiable. You buy what you need. Maintenance. Repairing existing things. Shoes can be resoled. Appliances can be fixed. Cars need servicing. Maintenance spend is productive. It extends what you own and delays replacements that cost 10 times more. Experiences. Concerts, travel, dinners with people you love. Research on happiness is consistent. Experiences and connection beat possessions every time. Experiences stay on the list. What you do not buy. New stuff. Electronics, home decor, fast fashion. If it is not broken, it stays. If you want it, it goes on a 30-day wish list. The 30-day rule eliminates most impulse purchases. Convenience spending. DoorDash, Uber Eats, subscription boxes you ignore. These are the slow leaks that drain accounts silently. Safety exception. If you need a ride at night, take it. Upgrades. Is your phone working? Does it make calls? Does it run your apps? Then you do not need a new one. Every phone upgrade cycle costs $800 to $1,400 when you add it up properly. The pantry strategy, one extra move that saves $100 a month. Before your next grocery run, cook through everything already in your house. Use the frozen chicken. Finish the pasta in the cupboard. Clear the canned goods. People who do this report saving around $100 per month on groceries, not because they are eating less, but because they are actually using what they already bought. Over 12 months, that is $1,200 in spending that never needed to happen. Saving money is only half the equation. The no-buy strategy only makes you richer if the money you are not spending goes somewhere that works for you. In the 2026 environment, with the Warsh doctrine keeping rates elevated, there are specific places money is moving and specific places smart money is quietly leaving. Let me walk through 4. Move 1. Cash and yield. Do not skip this. With 1-0-year Treasury yields sitting at 4.33 to 4.5%, high-yield savings and T-bills are genuinely attractive right now. If you have a $3,500 tax refund and you park it in a 5% yield account instead of spending it, that is $175 in passive income with zero risk. Not exciting. Also, not nothing. The Warsh doctrine means this window of real yield stays open. Move 2. Positive row investing. This is a term you are going to hear more of. It describes companies that benefit from higher interest rates and AI productivity gains simultaneously while carrying low debt. The rotation is away from debt-heavy big tech and into what analysts are calling hard tech companies with physical, contracted backlogs. GE Aerospace currently has a 190 billion US dollars order backlog. That is not speculation. That is contracted revenue you can track. Move 3. The distress pricing window in metals. The Warsh shock, the announcement of his confirmation, triggered a single-day collapse in precious metals. Gold dropped 11% in one day. Silver dropped 36%. These moves were violent and fast. Value investors call this distress pricing, when an asset falls sharply based on a single macro signal rather than a change in fundamentals. A brief buying window opens. Whether you act on it is your decision, but knowing the window exists puts you ahead of most retail investors. Move 4. Bitcoin at the macro crossroads. BTC dropped roughly 40% to the $60,000 to $76,000 range following the Warsh confirmation and broader liquidity tightening. The conversation in serious investor circles has shifted. Bitcoin is no longer being discussed as a get-rich-quick play. It is being tracked as a macro stress indicator, a measure of system-wide risk appetite. If you are already holding, this context changes how you think about your position. I want to be honest with you about the biggest threat to everything I just laid out, and it is not the economy. It is psychology. 2. There is a behavior psychologists are documenting right now called doom spending. It is what happens when geopolitical stress, inflation anxiety, and doom scrolling combine and push people toward buying premium items as a coping mechanism. You feel like the world is unstable, so you buy something. It feels like control. It feels like a reward for dealing with everything. And the products designed to trigger this response have never been more sophisticated. They are engineered by teams who study your attention patterns and your anxiety triggers. The limited edition drop, the comfort purchase, the "you deserve this" framing, all of it is deliberate. Here is the irony. Doom spending makes the anxiety worse. You spend money you were trying to save. You feel the regret. You feel less in control, not more. The cycle repeats. The no-buy strategy is not just a financial decision. It is a deliberate choice to not let manufactured anxiety drive your spending. To redirect that energy and that money into something that builds real security instead of simulating it. This is also why the cultural shift matters. When the people around you are also doing this, when loud budgeting is the norm, when underconsumption is the aesthetic, the social pressure that used to push you towards spending starts working in the opposite direction. So here is where I land. 2026 is genuinely unusual. You have an economy punishing consumption through tariffs, surcharges, and elevated rates at exactly the moment it is handing certain households a meaningful tax windfall. You have a generation that has already made a cultural shift away from stuff and toward financial intention. You have yield-bearing assets that are actually worth holding cash in. The conditions for a no-buy year have never been better, and the financial case has never been clearer. So here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, just 30 days, run the framework. Build your green list. Build your red list. Do the pantry shop. Take whatever you do not spend and move it somewhere it earns. Run the number at the end of the month. I think what you find is going to change how you approach the rest of the year. If this reframed how you think about money in 2026, hit subscribe. I break down exactly these kinds of financial shifts every week, because understanding the environment you are operating in is the single biggest advantage you can have as an individual investor. Drop a comment below. Are you doing a no-buy challenge this year, or thinking about starting one? Tell me your biggest obstacle, and I will respond directly. And watch this next, the Warsh Doctrine and US financial markets. It covers the Warsh Doctrine in detail and what higher for longer rates mean for every major financial decision you are going to make this year.